What up, guys? Another Adonis review today, and today I am going to do Moss Book 2, the VR game. Just to recap, if you don't have any clue what Moss is and you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about at all, Moss is, in Book 2, is the continuation of Moss 1, a Soul VR game, and the premise, simply put, is you are a tiny mouse that, or I guess you're not technically a tiny mouse, you're more so what they call a reader, which is like a mask-faced god of sorts that kind of controls a storybook land of places, and essentially you help this tiny mouse on a journey to save its land. And the way you do that is you control the mouse and kind of lead it to what it does, and you obviously fight the mouse kind of as a third party spectator. But because you are a third party spectator, you can also sometimes interact with the environment as the reader as well. So it's kind of like Astrobot in that sense. So it's pretty cool. Now, going into Book 2, if you've already played Book 1, and now if you're trying to figure out if it's worth going into the other one, quite simply put, if you for some reason hated Book 1, you probably would not like Book 2. It is a pretty straightforward continuation. It starts exactly where you left off in Book 1, after you defeated the snake, and you essentially go on a 5 to 6 hour journey, so maybe a little bit longer than the first one, but pretty similar timing actually, to kind of defeat the final bosses that stand in your way to save the land. Now, if you did like the first one, or you never played it and you want to play both at once, the game is pretty neat, and I feel like this one improves. It does what a sequel should do, which is it stays true to what someone would love of it if they loved the first one, with also only adding to it and making it an overall better game. Now, I do wish this game was a bit longer. I think if this game was maybe 8 hours, I think it'd be great. I feel like it's a little bit too short-lived. Like I said, 6 hours is probably the sweet point, so even like 6-7 hours would be pretty nice. But like I said, this game, if you like the first, expands on it in every way that it should. In the previous game, you aren't given too many weapon variations when it comes to the mouse's weapons. This one you do get, I believe, at least 3 weapons. You get like a hammer, like a throwing disc, the sword, of course. I think those are the main ones I can really think of. And you also get to play as a different character for a short period of time, which is a cool little twist as well. The story overall is pretty consistent. Everything stays pretty similar to what you do in the first game, with of course just different areas that you explore and different weapons you have throughout. So it's pretty good. Like I said, if you like the original one, you will like it. Again, I always say when it comes to VR games, it's very tough to tell how good a game looks when you watch it on YouTube. It's almost impossible to tell how good it looks in VR. The atmosphere is pretty awesome when you actually play it. Like I said, you'll never be able to tell just by watching this video, but when you actually do play the game, it's like you're in like a little tiny miniature building, and you're just watching this, mouse kind of like go through it and defeat all these monsters. So it's a real novelty to this game that not many other games have. Like I said, Astrobot's probably the closest to it, but Astrobot is more of a feel of like playing Super Mario World, in that type of aspect. Well, this one's like you're in a real paper mache type built like arena or castle, watching a mouse like run through it and fight beetles and whatnot. So overall, the aesthetics I think are so neat that even they're worth showing to somebody who who maybe doesn't see VR or maybe has never played it before, just to show them how unique and cool it looks. But just in general, the gameplay, the difficulty, all that fun stuff is enough to make anybody have fun with the challenge. And the good thing is, it is a short game, but it typically, I think, sells just naturally at $30. So it's not too pricey. It's on sale. I've seen it many times for around $25, which isn't a big difference, but you know, there you go. And I think I have seen it as low as $20 before. And they are going to make this a PS5 game as well. I think you can only pre-order right now, so if you do see it for the PS5 and have a PS5 but only have a PSVR 1, and you buy it, it's only going to be a pre-order. You have to get the PSVR 2 to be able to play it. I made that same mistake, thinking that it might have better graphics, and I could play it if I had a PS5, but no, you need the PSVR 2 to be able to actually access that, so it's a bummer. So if you want to play it, you have a PS5, you have to get the PS4 version of it. So just keep that in mind. But overall, I think it was a good game. It, like I said, it only adds to how good the first one was. It's a great little VR game to play, and since they focus so much on the PSVR 2s, it's one of the more recent new games that they've actually made for the PSVR, since they've kind of stopped doing it, since they're focusing so much on the VR 2. So overall, good game. I'd give it a try. If you like the first one, you'll definitely like this one. If you've never played it, I think it's definitely worth a try. I think the novelty in it's pretty nice. So I hope that helps you. If it does, give you the motivation to buy it, and you do like it, let me know. Later, guys.